All right, the Committee on Parole is reconvening. We're now at Elaine Hunt Correctional Center. It is 10:20 on Thursday, June 12th, 2025. I'd like to ask the board and the staff to please introduce yourself for the record.
Ward Keith Turner, Elaine Hunt Correctional Center.
Christy LeBlanc, classification.
Joe Buttress, Assistant Warden.
All right, thank y'all for helping us out today. And we have Mr. Sir, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Julian Neldell, 401468.
Neldell. Okay, Julian Neldell. Good morning, sir. Let me recognize the folks who joined us this morning. We have the Parole Project. Mr. Myers is here, wants to speak. We have your father-in-law on Zoom, Mr. Patrick Robinson. He wants to speak on your behalf. And here with us in Baton Rouge, we have a friend of your family, Mr. Don Reed, and he's going to be speaking also on your behalf.
Yes, ma'am.
So first of all, Mr. Neldell, let me read some identifying information into the record, and then I'm going to turn it over. We'll hear from the warden, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Stapleton to get your statement and ask you some questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So you are classified as a first felony offender. You're currently serving a 50-year sentence for armed robbery. You were sentenced in East Baton Rouge Parish in October 1998 for armed robbery. Your parole eligibility date was September 2nd, 2024, and your good time release date is September 2nd, 2041. Does all that sound correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, well, before we get your statement, let me ask Warden Thomas, is there anything you can tell us about this man?
Good morning. One thing I can say, Mr. Renato is he's definitely not the individual that I met at DCI several years ago. He's made great strides. He's done a lot of good things. He's earned his GED since he was incarcerated. He's a trustee here. He's a mentor, and he's currently in Victims Impact. So I can definitely see the change in him. Seemed like about 4 years ago, the light came on, and he got this thing figured out. So he's definitely on the right track.
All right, good to hear. Thank you. Mr. Neldell, would you answer Mrs. Stapleton's questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good morning, sir. According to my records, and you can correct me, you were 18 years old when this crime occurred. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how many years have you served?
27.
27, of a 50-year sentence, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, a synopsis of what happened that day is that it was an armed robbery and y'all got $4,970. And you were the person with the gun. Am I correct there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And let's see, there was a positive ID, but the problem was that for the victim that went as you were leaving, I guess, you pulled the trigger and they said that the bullet missed the victim just by inches. You shot the gun?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. So you need to know that your victim is very opposed to this. And then the DA also talked about that, the fact that you pulled the trigger and could have killed that person. And it was just actually good luck or the hand of God that kept that from happening. So, and you do have strong opposition from the DA and EBRSO, East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office. But I do notice that you did start out with a lot of disciplinary write-ups. And then now that you're in these classes, and some of the ones I looked at was you've written a victim accountability letter, correct?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Yes. And you've taken the pre-release.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anger management, Malachi Dad's living in balance. You've done those.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you've gotten your GED.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're in a victim awareness class. Is that correct?
Impact.
Victim impact. Tell me something about that, since you now know about that the bullet came so close to the victim's head, and that's what still impacts the victim. Tell me about that.
Taking that class, it teaches you to be aware, shows you how to be aware of the impact of what you did with the victim, towards the victim. And it's not always just the physical part of it, it's the mental part, him reliving the situation alone and understanding that it caused physical, mental stress, and a lot of financial stress as well. And I understand that. I do. At first, I didn't because I understand I understand life, I understand myself. But going through that and realizing what I did, and I see it all. I understand.
Well, and then just like the warden said, a light seemed to go on because I had 71 disciplinary write-ups for a point. And then we have this. What happened? Do you know what happened that caused you to say, I need to examine myself and start taking these classes and do something to improve myself?
I mean, it took a while. It took a while, but understanding what humanity was and being a human was the purpose of life and made me really change now. What I did didn't help life, didn't help humanity, me steady messing up in prison. It wasn't helping me, it wasn't helping people around me, it wasn't helping anyone. I just like, it's not gonna get it. You gotta understand what life is about. And me being in prison, it took me coming to jail to really understand being what a man was. I was 18. I didn't understand. I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't know anything about nothing. I was just with a crowd, hanging out, trying to be down. That was my biggest thing, trying to be down. I didn't understand myself. And once I realized myself, like everything just, this is it. That wasn't it. I woke up. And if I could change any and everything, I would change a lot, but I'm gonna change what I can change now. I can't really change what I did. I know what I did, and I wished I wouldn't have. But all I could do is just move forward and continue to do that.
I see that you've been accepted into the Parole project.
Yes, ma'am.
That's an excellent project, and to get people on their feet and bring you up to date with the world has changed so much since you've been in jail. I'm gonna pass it to my colleagues and see if they've got anything to say.
Why did you commit the robbery? What were you after? What you needed the money for?
Money and just, like I said, being down, peer pressure, not understanding myself, or the guys I was with, not really friends, they not knowing either. I was young. I was basically me being down, basically, not understanding.
That was my only question.
So how many times have you seen Warden Thomas in DB court before he was Warden Thomas?
Warden Turner?
I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. Warden Turner, I apologize.
Hey, bye.
We're very familiar with each other. We're very familiar.
Yes, sir. You lost 935 days of good time.
It's like every time I was catching the radicals, I was taking, they were 6 months, 6 months here, 6 months here. I mean, that was just the rule. That's how they were sentencing me. But me, Mr. Turner,
You don't deserve it?
ma'am.
Didn't you deserve it? You said that's how they were sentencing you. Didn't you deserve it?
Those were the sentencing guidelines.
Yeah, I understand that. They got tired of your foolishness. But what I am happy to say is I see where you started getting some of that restored recently. So I was going to ask some of the same things Ms. Stapleton did. What happened to make the light go off?
I grew up.
Yeah, I'm pleased to see that. We'd like to hear from those who want to speak on your behalf. First, we'd like to hear from the Parole Project.
Yes, good morning. Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project. We're here for Mr. Neldell for the same reasons that the warden spoke of his change, for the same reasons we saw the growth and change in Mr. Neldell. It was impressive seeing, I guess, that moment, or being able to identify a moment when the light came on. So we're here to support him through his reentry. After 27 years in incarceration, we certainly understand what his needs are in transition, and so we're prepared to offer him the transitional housing. He does have long-term residence plans, but he will be with us as long as he needs to be. We will help him through the transition with financial management, consumer skills, social norms. He'll be evaluated by our social work staff for any additional needs, particularly mental health and substance abuse. But we can say that we've accepted Mr. Neldell because we have also seen the growth and maturity that he has, and the as he's expressed himself, how he has come to know himself. And so we believe he would be an excellent candidate for our program.
Okay, thank you. Could we hear from Mr. Neldell's father, Mr. Patrick Robinson?
Hello, you guys
Hi.
can hear me?
Yes.
I'm his pastor as well. I just want to say that I'm here to support him. I feel like from mentoring him and talking to him that I see the change in him. I also worked in the correction for 25 years before I retired, so I know the ins and all the playing games and when you're serious. I really thank you very remorseful for what he done. From talking to him as well, like I say, as his pastor, I see the change, and we're here, and I also have a job for him lined up when he get out as well. Yeah.
Okay. And what is your relationship? I have you listed as father-in-law.
Father-in-law and pastor and mentor. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Great.
ma'am.
Appreciate hearing from you. All right, Mr. Reed, we'd like to hear from you, sir.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I've served on the library board here in Baton Rouge for 14 years, so I appreciate your service on the public board, and realize it's a lot of work that you do the best you can do with what information you have. I'm a lawyer, don't represent Julian, I did represent his stepfather. That's really why I'm here. I go to First Methodist Church. I think y'all got some letters from the church people. Julian's mother, Hannah, and his stepfather, Mitch, both worked there for many years. Julian used to come with his mother to church, and he's a couple years older, I think, than my daughters, I have 3 of them. And they were friends, and he was engaging and educated and spoke well. A great kid. If I had to say from my perspective, what happened to Julian was that he didn't fit in with his peer group because he was educated and well spoken. And I think he tried to fit in, and you know, that's a bad choice. I just had my 50th high school reunion at pastime on Saturday, and I remember therefore what it was like to be in high school and how difficult sometimes that time is to get along with you. But anyway, he felt obviously my personal involvement came in with his mother died in 2016. And his stepfather, Mitch, was diagnosed about the same time with terminal cancer. Mitch called me to come to the lake and say, I got to do a will because Hannah died. And we want Julian to have our house when he gets out of bed. We want to make sure that he has a place to live. So I want to do a will that makes that happen. And he did. I did that for him in the hospital one day after Christmas, 2016. And then Mitch lived a couple of more years. And we that the succession has not been completed, and unfortunately, Hannah did not have a will, so we had to do some work done with Mitch's sister and Julian's brothers. But I talked to all of those people yesterday, and I think that with Julian if Julian gets out of jail, we'll be able to put him in his house and a place to live, which is really the primary reason that I'm here, because my goal is to hopefully try to make sure with the dying time that his stepson get out of jail and have and move on with his life. I can appreciate the crime victim. I myself have been a victim of crimes many times. As far as I know, none of those people ever went to prison. I think one of the guys that I was involved in some altercation with spent a few days or maybe more than that, I think sometime in the tangible jail, but he never went to prison. And I don't hold any bitterness against those people. I think we all make mistakes, particularly when we're young. And Julian spent 3/5 of his life in jail. So I would like to see him get out, and I think there are other people that would appreciate y'all's attention to this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here this morning. All right. Any other questions? All right, I don't see any other questions, Mr. Neldell.
Mr. Knox, if you don't mind, one thing I like to add, I don't know what decision the board's gonna make today, but if he gets a favorable recommendation today, he is in victims impact class. He's got about 7 weeks left. And I would like to see him, finish that victims impact. I think it'll be very beneficial for him. I think it's been real beneficial for him past 5, 6 weeks that he's been in. So I think he's finally found himself, but I'd like to see him finish that class if the board, votes favorably for him today.
Oh, thank you, Warden Turner. We'll consider that. We're ready to vote, Mrs. Stapleton?
Yes, my vote today, Julian, is to grant a favorable parole conditionally that you finish your victim impact class where you're at, and that you're released to the parole project and for at least 2 years. Mr. Myers, is that possible? I don't know if it's listening.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
because I know you said as long as they need, but for at least 2 years that he'll be there. And that you have no contact whatsoever with your victim, Mr. Harper. And that's my recommendation.
Mr. Barrow?
I have a quick question
Mhm.
for Mr. Reed. That house that he gonna inherit, where is it?
Haley Street, I don't know exactly,
Is it in Holden, Louisiana?
no, it's not.
Okay.
All right. Looking at, your programs you completed while you were there, you've done a great job with that. You haven't had any write-ups in the past 4 years, which that says something. I'm gonna vote to grant you parole also with the same conditions she had, but I'm gonna add another one that says you don't go back to Holden, Louisiana, where your victim lives. We don't want that, you and that man to have another encounter. We don't want to set him back. He's already suffered enough. So no, not only no contact with him, don't go back to his hometown. All right, that's my vote.
All right, I'm really proud of you, Julian. You worked hard of late, and I'm glad you turned that corner. I do agree with my colleagues. My vote will be to grant your parole with the same conditions based on, what you've demonstrated to us. You've demonstrated growth and maturity. The warden has spoke of your transformation. I would add another condition though, and that would be, Mr. Reed has talked about your ability to speak well. I want you to speak to at-risk youth, share your story, try to steer someone away from the same path you went down. And I'll let your parole officer determine the frequency or how many hours a month you're supposed to do it. But I do want you to do that as a condition of parole. Okay? You got to finish. You got a little bit more work to do there with Warden Turner. So do the victim impact, and I think they'll do some good work. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, Warden Turner, thanks so much for accommodating us. We're going to sign off at 10:39. Good morning. The Committee on Parole is called to order. Today is Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. We're going to begin with revocation proceedings. So it's 8:53 a.m. My name is Cheryl Renatza, serving as chairman today. My colleague here with me is Mrs. Carolyn Stapleton, and we have remotely joining us Mrs. Jerry Ledoux. I would like to ask the staff here at DOC headquarters, please introduce yourself for the record.
Jalen Cavalier.
And our first remote location this morning is at East Baton Rouge, and we have before us Mr. Neldell. Good morning. You're on mute still. Can you ask the officer to unmute it?
All right, is that good?
Sir, thank you so much. We appreciate your help this morning.
Welcome.
Good morning, ma'am. How are y'all doing?
Good. So, Mr. Neldale, you're here for a revocation decision this morning. Would you state for the record, sir, your name and DOC number?
Julian Neldale, 401468.
And I believe I heard you have a revocation questionnaire there in front of you.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And is that your signature at the bottom of that page?
Yes, ma'am.
And based on that information on that questionnaire, you're not eligible for appointed counsel this morning. So are you ready to proceed?
Yes, I am.
All right, so your case was assigned to me, so I'm gonna just read the allegation against you. You'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty, and then we'll talk about that.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're accused of violating condition number 13 of your parole conditions, which is a special condition. And it states that the parole board or the committee on parole ordered as part of your parole that you remain in the parole project program for a period of 2 years. You've been removed from the parole project program on or about September 12th, 2025, due to your unwillingness to adhere to the parole project program requirements. So, Mr. Neldale, how do you plead to violating that condition?
Guilty with a statement, ma'am.
What's your statement?
Upon signing the waiver, the list, okay, I was called by my case manager to review, to give them access to my bank account. And he was like, well, no, it's your choice. I'm like, my bank account lets me see your bank account. I'm like, well, do I have to do that? He said, no, you don't. Now, my caseworker's name is Michael Coates. He said, okay, you don't have to. I said, okay, cool. So maybe like a couple of days later, Miss Kelly Gary called me while I was at work, and she requested, she said, no, that I was told that you were unwilling to allow us to see your bank records. I say, yes, ma'am, that's true. I'm saying, what's going on? I said, is this concerning me paying the rent? Because I have this $100. So no, it's like, no, we need to see your bank account. I'm like, well, I not really want to do that. She said, well, listen, you signed a paper. They had an option. I said, okay, what paper was that? Because I don't remember exactly signing the papers. She stated what it was. I said, okay, well, Miss Kelly, I don't really remember you running that to me as far as what that was, the correct requirements concerning that, which she states that I had to allow them to see my bank records, and I had an option to do that or not to do that. What I remember signing that paper was that I was given the ability to set up a bank account for me, not to keep records and check my bank account. However, she said, since you're not willing to allow us to do that, you have until 4 o'clock the next day to leave our property. I'm like, okay. I left the next morning, called my parole officer, told him exactly what was going on, what transpired, what she told me, and what I told her, that I was unwilling to let them see my bank account. Had I known that that was a violation of my parole or the project alone, I would not be sitting before you. But I did not know I actually let them see my bank account. And she said that's what it was. I did not know that. That wasn't even explained to me to that magnitude.
I do see where you go July 9th. So you were parole July 8th.
Yes, ma'am.
And on July 9th, you signed an agreement acknowledging and accepting the program requirement allowing the parole project to view your banking information and the purpose for that. And it was explained to you to ensure that your goals were being met. And I hear what you're saying.
Yes, ma'am.
But from what I see, it was explained to you. And I'm looking at the paper you signed.
Yes, I signed that, ma'am. That's my signature.
In-house residents will be required to pay and show reentry staff their finances on a monthly basis. And it goes on to say other stuff. So I just say this, that you do have some support letters in our record that you know cite your progress, and you know they say they believe it's a misunderstanding. For me, refusing to abide by their rules is a serious infraction, which yes, of course, it was a special condition ordered by us.
Yes, ma'am.
To participate in their program. So, Mr. Neldale, I don't have any other questions of you at this time. I'll defer to ask my colleagues if they have any. Ms. Ledoux?
I have no questions.
All right, Mr. Neldale, so I am prepared to vote this morning, and based on your refusal to adhere to the requirements of the parole project as ordered by the parole board, my vote today is to revoke your parole. Mrs. Stapleton?
I concur with Mr. Dawson.
Mrs. Ledoux?
My vote is revocation based on not cooperating with parole project.
Now, so today, Mr. Neldale, your parole is being revoked. You will have the opportunity to apply for re-parole. We'll send you some information on how and when you can do that. We wish you well. Good luck to you, sir. That concludes this proceeding.
Yes, ma'am.